Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against Burnley at Old Trafford. So the main headline is, United will never give up on the title. So, Man United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer discussed Eric Bailly, Marcus Rashford, marginal gains and the Premier League title in his press conference to preview Sunday's match against Burnley. Says the boss sat down with journalists on Thursday night after the Europa League quarter-final second leg against Granada to discuss what promises to be a competitive top-flight game at Old Trafford this weekend. Solskjaer's men are second in the table and there remains a mathematical chance of winning the title, which Ole is not giving up on, but he is realistic about the prospect of leaders Manchester City losing 3 of their final 6 matches. So anyway, now what?
Put tea on.
You put tea on?
Yeah. Do you want to pop to get some bread cakes, some spare, so we can have some butties as well?
Later on, yeah.
Because I'm making sausages, chips and spaghetti yolks.
Alright.
With no bread or bread cake.
Later on, yeah.
It's going to be done in half an hour.
Alright.
So if you want to pop, we can have a sandwich, make a chip butter in that with it. Just get a loaf of bread. You've only got 6 bread cakes with it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Don't get 12 bread cakes.
Alright.
You'll let her go over the next 15 minutes and then we can have it with us tea.
Alright, I'll go. Yeah, I'll go later. Just talking there, but yeah, like I say, I'll go through the questions he was asked during the press conference and I'll give you his responses to them. So this was the first question that was asked to him. Do you think that Marcus Rashford will be able to start at the weekend? It must have been a big bonus that you were able to rest him against Granada. So Ole's response to that was, big bonus that he didn't have to put any pressure on his foot, yes. I have got to hope he can be available and not make it worse. That is a decision I have got to make, so fingers crossed. He wasn't due to be on the bench really. He didn't train yesterday, but just in case he puts his hand up and said if I needed, I could do a job. So it is a decision I have got to make on Sunday morning, but is important for us? Is it a difficult one? You have to go by how Marcus feels in a couple of days. So that was Ole's response to that. So probably Marcus Rashford will be playing in this game against Burnley. Rashford has become injury prone because he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. He is an imperative player. You know, he's been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And I think we need to keep him on that left-hand side, like I've said numerous times, because that's where he's more effective. Now, this second question is regarding Eric Bailly. What is Eric Bailly's situation with availability? Ole's response to that was, Eric has been isolating back home in the Ivory Coast and he's back in England now and we hope he can be available for the weekend. Hopefully he can train tomorrow depending on how he feels within himself, but he has had the test today, so we need to get the confirmation that he is still negative. So Ole is hopeful that Bailly will be able to play in this game. Yes, Bailly has been out with COVID. But Solskjaer is relaxed over Eric Bailly's future and he says contract talks are good. Because the last time I read up, he said that contract talks were on hold for Eric Bailly until he has assurances over his playing time, because he has lost his place in the team. Earlier on this season, Bailly apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because he said Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted at the club. And Bay said we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. He's got like 14 months left on his current contract. That he's a good centre-half. He's just injury prone. That is my only element of concern about him. This is another question. There is also speculation about his future. Is there anything you can say about that? Eric has played well when he has played. I know there has been speculation. We are talking to him about his contract, so I don't see any issues really. It's good news that. You talk about never ruling out anything. Is the title still a realistic target? Is it practical? Ollie's response to that was, one, of course, we will never give up. Man United will never, ever give up. This team, this club has had too many setbacks. Too many great comebacks to have that in our DNA. But is it realistic? No, because when you have a team so consistent as Man City have been, you don't expect them to lose 3 games out of the last 6. But as long as we do our job, we know we want to finish the season strong. So 1 game at a time. This was another question. The change from the red banners to black at Old Trafford, was it physiologically important to make a change? Ollie's response to that was, the devil is in the detail. I know it might sound strange, but when you play at this level, split second decisions can be the difference between winning a semi-final or losing a game. So we have got to make everything we can. We always do that. Is why we have sports science. That is why we have physics. That is why we do the coaching every little detail, every little gain. I think every manager is the same. You can ridicule everything I said as much as you like, but is it in our DNA to try to make the most of everything? And that is what we do at Man United. We have the facility to try to explore any little detail. Fair response from Ollie. This is another one question. If winning the title is unrealistic, you can make the top 4 for consecutive seasons. And for the first time since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, is there any satisfaction in that, or do you go back to Sir Alex Ferguson's time and thinking you should be winning it and competing to win it? Ollie's response to that was, you have got to make progress step by step, and that is the reality. But if you can manage second place, keep on winning and getting second, and if Man City win all of their games, or if we win all our games, you want to finish the season strongly. And third last season, and if we manage second, then it is progress. That is not the end game. The end game is winning the league, but we are not in the era of Sir Alex now. We have had a transformation period since he left, which always would happen because there is no one better, will never be. He was the boss. He was the one who stayed here for so many years. It was always going to be difficult to replace him, so it's progress step by step. And in the end, if we do that well enough, that is when you get trophies and league titles, which is our ambition. That has always got to be the aim, but everyone knows what I am talking about. It is step by step. Now this is another question. Going back to Burnley at Old Trafford last season compared to now, what are the 2 or 3 things that have made the squad better? Ollie's response to that was, the last 3 games against Burnley we have conceded 2 goals. We have not won any of the last 3 home games against Burnley. Is it a massive game for the players? Massive game for them to show the mentality that they have shown over the last 13 to 14 months, because I think the attitude has been spot on. The determination, the bounce back ability, that of not letting one defeat derail your season or lose the momentum. Get straight back on getting points or a win. The way the players have coped with the whole situation. The players, I have to say, they have impressed me. The coaches, the little details they try and improve on. I said about the devil is in the details, and our coaches, there can't be too many coaches around the world that look into the detail as much as mine. I'm delighted to be working with them. This is the final question of the press conference. Looking at the Champions League semi-finals, you have beaten PSG and Man City. So does that give you confidence that you are now actually that far away? Reality is that we are in the Europa League and they are in the Champions League, so of course that is the reality. But when you sit and watch the games and you know how well you have done at times against these, you know you are not a million miles away. It is about consistency. Human nature, sometimes you have little details to go against you, margins go against you. We would have loved have gone through in the group stage. I felt we had done enough at one point, but we just couldn't get it over the line. So now it is about improving again, improving and looking at them and taking inspiration from our good performances against them, but also learning of the bad performances and the bad performances we have had. So yeah, that was everything that was mentioned during the press conference. Now, we're coming into this game against Burnley on the back of a 2-0 win against Granada in the Europa League quarter-final second leg at Old Trafford. The goals came from Edison Cavani. He scored the first goal in 6 minutes. Lovely volley as well, and a good backward header from Paul Pogba. And the second goal was an own goal from Valijo. Alex Tellez played a part in both goals. It was 4-0 on aggregate because we beat Granada in the first leg 2-0. Solskjaer has said that we are aiming to finish the season with a trophy, because he said that would make it a great season. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2017. We're now into the Europa League semi-finals. That's 5 semi-finals under Solskjaer. And in the semi-finals, we play Roma. Solskjaer spoke about Man United facing Roma in the semi-finals. He said, Edin Dzeko will pose the biggest threat to Manchester United when we play Roma. Mkhitaryan, who will be reuniting with Man United. Chris Smalling will as well, but I think he might not be able to play due to injury. And we won our last league game against Tottenham. We beat them 3-1. I said, reflecting on that win against Tottenham, that more or less secures us a second place finish. I'm expecting Man United to beat Burnley on Sunday. Burnley are pretty poor, aren't they? They're sitting 16th in the Premier League. Their current manager is Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche has been a long-serving manager at Burnley. He's been there since 2012, so he's been there now nearly a decade. Before he was at Burnley, he was at Watford. Burnley beat us in this fixture last season 2-0. That was Burnley's first win at Old Trafford in 58 years. We beat them earlier on this season 1-0 at Turf Moor. The goal came from Paul Pogba, and we're beating them at Turf Moor last season 2-0. Burnley have got some good players. Obviously, Chris Wood, he's a very good player. Burnley got him from Leeds. Ashley Barnes, he's one of Burnley's key players. He's actually out with injury at the moment. Jay Rodriguez, he's one of their key players. I think he's recently been out due to personal reasons. They've got Vidra, who's good. They've got Ashley Westwood. Cork's also quite good. Ben Mee's good. They've got Tarkowski, who's quite good. Long, he's out with injury for Burnley. Their goalkeeper Pope's out with injury. And Brady's out with injury. Burnley brought a few players in last year, didn't they? They brought Mancini in, brought Dale Stevens in, brought Will Norris in, and Josh Brownhill. We've got Phil Jones injured still, but Jones doesn't get in our team anyway. Anthony Martial, he won't be playing in this game because he's still out with injury. Solskjaer did confirm that it's very, very likely that Martial will be out for the remainder of the season. Bay's nearly back now, which is good. Marcus Rashford, he's been injured but should be back for this game. And that's it. After Burnley, we do play Leeds. Really, really looking forward to that game. By the way, on my next video, I'll be giving you my starting 11 prediction for this game against Burnley. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he does deserve at least another season at Manchester United because he has made progress in certain aspects. But I can assure he's not the long-term manager for Man United. A lot of United fans have been demanding Solskjaer out. They've obviously had main explanations why they want him out, but I presume that there's still some Man United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and believe that excuse me, and believes that he needs more time. This is his second full season. I can assure he will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window, and he'll be Man United manager next season. Because we've already said that Solskjaer will not be sacked, even if we fail to win the Europa League. Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson. He knows that the summer transfer window is massive for him and the club in general. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. And I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. Reports said not so long ago that we'll spend big in the summer transfer window. But Solskjaer did say that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. He did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer window due to the pandemic. Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window because we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. And it was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in. And John Murtough knows the club well. And we've got Darren Fletcher. He's our technical director. And he knows the club through thick and thin because he enjoyed 2 decades as a player for Man United. And obviously soon Woodward, he's standing by Solskjaer, and Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear, so in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. And in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ollie, even when he was enjoying them bad periods. Because our board have got a soft stance on Ollie, with him being a club legend. There's a lot of players that Man United are looking at. Now, I recently give you the news on Rafael Varane. There was reports coming out from Spain yesterday saying that Man United have been in advanced talks with Rafael Varane. Real Madrid are demanding £60 million. We hope to lower Real Madrid's £60 million asking price. And we are preparing a transfer bid for Varane, and Varane is supposedly ready to leave Real Madrid. Now, Rafael Varane to Man United could be off because there's rumours saying that Sergio Ramos is leaving Real Madrid. Earlier on this season, it said that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. But yeah, Rafael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. He's got just over a year left on his contract with Real Madrid. But I'd certainly take him at Manchester United. Main explanations is because he's a world-class centre-half. He'd go very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. And he would exceed expectations in the Premier League. He'd replicate what he's done at Real Madrid. He's been at Real Madrid 10 years. He's won 18 major honours and he's made over 300 appearances. Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens. He said not so long ago that Solskjaer had drawn up a 6-man centre-back shortlist. And the first 4 names were Pau Torres, Jules Koundé, Kanate and Rafael Varane. The other 2 weren't mentioned. Now, I recently give you the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. Recent narratives have said that Declan Rice is interested in joining Manchester United and he's asked Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw about life at Old Trafford. West Ham are demanding over £100 million. He said earlier on this season that Solskjaer agreed with our recruitment team that Declan Rice would be the perfect signing for the club. I reckon he's worth from between £50 to £60 million. Declan Rice is predominantly a holding midfielder, but he can be deployed as a centre-half. The main explanations I'd take him at Manchester United is because he's well proven in the Premier League. He's still young, he's got a lot of development in him, and he would dramatically improve us. I think he'd be a good replacement for Matic. Rice has been at West Ham 7 years. He's got a contract with them till 2024. Before he was at West Ham, he was at Chelsea. He was in their youth setup for several years. You already know the news on Jaden Sancho from Dortmund. Recent reports did say that Man United have been given a new Jaden Sancho transfer price. It's £86 million. So Borussia Dortmund have lowered their asking price because initially they was demanding £108 million. Borussia Dortmund have admitted that they will sell Jaden Sancho for the right price, and Borussia Dortmund's CEO revealed not so long ago that the club will discuss exceptional offers for the winner. Don't forget Sancho was our #1 priority target last summer. You already know the news on Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. We're going to focus on the outgoings in the summer transfer window as well as the incomings. Quite a few players I think are going to leave us in the summer. You know, there's a good chance that Cavani's going to leave. I don't want him to though. I want him to stay for next season because he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. Martial, a lot of Man United fans are saying that we need to offload him. While I'm expecting him to leave. I think there's a good chance that Matic will leave. Donny van de Beek could leave Man United because he's not getting enough opportunities. Paul Pogba could still leave, but I don't want him to leave in the summer. I want him to stay potentially past the summer because he brings creativity to the team. We just need to keep Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. Phil Jones, I want him to leave. Will Axel Tuanzebe leave because he doesn't get in R11? Yeah, he started against Granada recently, but that's only because Bay wasn't available and Harry Maguire wasn't available, so there was no other option than Tuanzebe and Lindelof. Romero, we could offload him because he's like our third or fourth choice keeper now, and De Gea could still leave Man United in the summer transfer window. But there is positives regarding Solskjaer. You know, he's got us to the Europa League semi-final. Like I've already mentioned, that's 5 semi-finals under Ole. He's got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, sorry. This season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final. We are unbeaten in our last 23 Premier League away games, so we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are far better. We've been far better away from home than we have been at home. Put it that way. We went on a 14-game unbeaten run before Leicester beat us in the FA Cup quarter-final. You know, Ollie, last season, his first full season, guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. You know, we are now sitting second in the Premier League. He has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million and so far he's endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. I like the way he has promoted the youth and his decision making in some games has been good. But he doesn't show tactical flexibility enough. In a lot of his games at Man United, he's been tactically naive. And Solskjaer's beaten big-name managers as Manchester United manager. You know, he's beaten Pep Guardiola quite a few times. He's beaten Ancelotti a few times. He's beaten Brendan Rodgers. He's beaten Jose Mourinho, twice now. Beaten Jurgen Klopp in the FA Cup. Beaten Thomas Tuchel twice, that's when he was PSG manager, and he's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. So there is a few, isn't there? So they are the positives. You know, Solskjaer has been Manchester United manager now over 2 years. Reflecting now on he's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and that, and he's learned quite a bit on the job. And he's tried a few different elements and that. But he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. That's one of my concerns about him. But that doesn't mean he can't succeed at Manchester United. You know, we appointed Solskjaer in December 2018. He's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The club gave him the job permanently 2 years ago, reflecting how well he did as the interim manager because he won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. The main explanation Solskjaer's still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. That's what saved him, basically. Disregarding him being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at the club, it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.